Well, good evening, cyber friends. It's Mitty Man coming to you again from Walker's Music with yet another word for the day. Monday night edition, about 11:48. We headed up to the top of the night, or early morning, I should say. And we give God all the glory and the praise and the honor. Thank Him for as well as it is. And we thank Him for each and every one of you, cyber friends. You know who you are. As y'all see the title of my video there, it says, Feeling of Hopelessness. Feeling of hopelessness. And a lot of us go through that every now and once in a while. I don't care how spiritual you want to act like, you want to be, but everybody sometimes get the feeling of a little, sometimes you have a little hopelessness, and you get that feeling sometimes. You feel like everything is useless. It feels like it's just a lost cause sometimes. You feel that way sometimes, and Satan can get you down in your mind. His job is to kill, steal, and destroy people. But tonight, what I wanted to just mention, I wanted to say a few things that might be relevant to some of us, and all of us can benefit from it. And I'm hoping that, it will make some sense to everyone that do get a chance to listen at and watch this video. Um, Hopelessness. That's a bad feeling, people. When you feel that there is no hope. No hope. Now, what I mean is, I'm going to use for an example just my lifetime. Just my lifetime. In the 60s, and that was my decade, the decade I was born in 61. And growing up as a small child, in the 60s and the 70s, coming on up into high school in the 70s and everything, graduating and all. During that time, back in that era, it seemed as though we had a little bit more hope. Matter of fact, most of the dreams for a younger person that was in the music at that time, their main goal was to get a record deal. Motown. And everybody, matter of fact, Detroit was booming at that time. Detroit was a booming metropolis at that time. Very successful. People went there to get, like I said, Barry Gordy was the main man of Motown and everything. We had good groups as the Temptations and all of them at that particular time. Marvin Gaye. You had a bunch of everything. It was hopeful. Everybody they had a little glimpse of the light of day at the end of the tunnel. Everybody felt that they had a good chance, a breaking chance of making it. That was a little hope. But then, as time progressed, we got people with nuclear bombs and spy satellites and people talking about EMP bombs and knocking out the electric grid, and all them threats done came about since this time. And it really have made a lot of people just lose hope. Why try to do anything when you never know the next day? You may not even know whether you're gonna wake up to see. You may not even have no power to turn on a computer and nothing else, let alone doing the music with it. So a lot of people have lost their hope. I can remember my great grandmama was telling me about things when they were growing up, where they didn't have people life was so simple at that time, and people had genuine care for each other, and they looked after their neighbor and whatnot. If things were just much more simpler, even though at that particular time they went through the depression and all of that. And those of you, the young people that don't know nothing about depression, you got to read your history books about it. But it was a very hard time for families back in those days. But the one thing about it, they made it. They made it. People, I'm just gonna say it. It's a deacon, Mitty Man. I'm gonna tell y'all something, the way I feel about it. You know, a lot of times I sit here And I think about all this different stuff about how things are now and all the threats that we have against us. And it really will make you feel like it is useless to even try to do anything. But I try to get rid of that mindset. I get rid of that mindset because, see, first of all, there's always hope in Christ. There's always hope in Jesus. So Jesus didn't mean for us to just give up. He didn't mean for us to give up. Now I know, like I say, I'm telling you, I'll be the first one to admit. I felt hopeless. I felt despair myself. Hopelessness and despair. I feel it. I felt it. I will. And like I said, I have been feeling it, a lot of it recently, because it seems like no matter what you try to do, nothing works. It seems just like everything that go downhill. But nevertheless, we cannot lose hope. In other words, never mind the EP bomb, the nuclear bomb, and the whatnot. If it all that goes off, then it goes off. Ain't nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it. But it's one thing that I feel that we should be ready. We should be ready to go at a moment's notice. But what I'm saying is, when we got our little ones, we got our little babies and things that we think about. What about their future? I mean, my life about over as far as the time of life is concerned. As far as the time of life is concerned, I got more years behind me than I got in front of me now. There used to be a time when I couldn't say that, but I can say it now. I got more years behind me than I have in front of me. And if you're 50 plus, you got the same thing in you. But you don't never know what the next day may bring. We must keep people. We can't lose hope. And I say that with sympathy. I say that with sympathy with everybody that may be feeling a little despair right now. Because, see, I know where you're coming from. It seems like, the more you try to do, like I say, my Walker's music out there, I've been having a studio for a few years and everything, but trying to make it work. Trying to make it work. And then, as soon as you think you might going to do a little something, then you get a setback 15 miles behind. And it really can make you to the point to where you just say, well, I just throw my hands up. It'll make you think that. And I hope I didn't mess up nothing, but I hit my hand on my keyboard. But we must not give up hope. And I'm talking more to me as well as to you. Don't let us maintain hope, because there is always hope in Christ. We must not let current events, we must not let threats and all this here calamity and all the, people always want to find somebody to blame because of this and because of that. No, we cannot allow that to make us stop trying to at least do. In other words, let's go back. And I'm just talking about my generation. Now, I ain't talking about all the generations that behind me, but I'm just saying those of us that grew up during the 60s and everything, and when you had those aspirations to get a record deal with Motown or whoever, Atlantic or whatever, don't lose that. Don't lose it just because somebody done threatened now to blow up a nuclear bomb. Keep your hope. Keep your hope. Now, it may not be as though, like I said, it used to, in yesteryears, people had more caring for each other. I can remember some of those days, people. I can remember my great-grandmom and her friends, and they used to come over to the house. We had a lady named Miss Nora Jordan, member of my church, older lady, and she was a lady, she was kind of afraid of bad weather. And every time it used to be some bad weather would come up, Miss Nora Jordan would try to come over to my house, over to my great-grandmama's house. She sat with her until the storm went over. But you know what? We enjoyed that. We look forward to that. Not the bad weather, but we look forward just for Miss Nora Jordan to come over and sit, and we would all sit around and talk. And I would sit there and I would listen to them talk about the different things in there when they were growing up and everything and how things used to be. I enjoyed that. And I look forward to that. And all of her friends, the ones that used to come around, they sit around and talk about the old time. And I would hear them talk about my great-granddad. Because, see, my great-granddad, he died when I was I think I was going on 4 years old. I was 3 going on 4 because he died in the June of 1965. I was going on 4 years old. And I used to sit around and hear them talk about how he used to play that guitar and sing and everything. I never did get a chance to hear him play. But my great grandma told me all about it. Believe me. She told me all about it. But I'm just saying those are the days that are past and gone that we sit, and when we recollect on those days, and if you, it kind of gives you, it makes you feel a little bad though in a way, because of the fact that now you don't have no genuine care and concern anymore. Like it look like everybody now just all for number one. They don't care anything about each other. All I want is mine. I don't care whether you get yours or not, but all I want is mine. And we have gotten down to the place, like I said, all this life. You turn on the news. That's why I'm gonna tell you, I try not to even watch the news sometimes. I don't really care, because all the thing they focus on is bad. Everything is bad. And I know there are some good things in this life as well, people. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to let us hope, get us some hope back in our lives. That's what. Let's bring some hope back. I mean, yes, we know that the guy over there in North Korea, he threatening with all his missile testing and all of that. And then, like I said, and I feel good about our president saying, okay, well, look here, we're not there going to stand by and let you do it to us. I mean, but then you got some people don't even want, this man threatening just all kinds of crazy stuff he's doing, but yet it's still our own people talking about our own leader. That don't make sense to me. Well, I ain't got nothing against Dr. Trump. I call him Dr. Trump. He's the president of the United States of America. And I ain't got, far as I can see people, you know what I mean? Now, some people probably call me crazy, but I'm looking at it, I don't see nothing the man doing but just trying to do what's right. That's the only thing I'm seeing. For right now, he's trying to protect, he got the interest of our country at hand. And that's the way it should be. But nevertheless, I understand that there's a lot of uncertainty right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. And like I said, I can remember back where we didn't have to worry, all these other words were not necessary. They wasn't even in the picture. But I can tell a lot of people is in despair. Hopelessness. It seems people like all hope is gone. I got to be a witness, people, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I feel a lot of it sometimes. But I catch myself and I know who holds tomorrow. For I do know who holds tomorrow. So what we got to do, we cannot let these current events and all this stuff that is threatened make us not want to continue living. We should keep our goals still set. We should still have aspiration, just like we still got another 1,000 years left on this planet as a civilization, as far as we know it. We should live every day like we still got a chance to do what, because really and truly, I do believe that we do. Now I know there's a lot of things that got to happen. I know that from the Bible. I know that. But I still believe, look, we still got our younger ones. I'm looking at our younger ones, like my great grands and great nieces and everything. They got to come up. What will happen to them? I just don't believe that this thing is going to be mess up their future. They got a future too, just like we had one. They got one too coming along. I believe it's going to be much different than ours. But nevertheless, I don't believe God's going to let them be cut short like that. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that. But we do know that there are some greater days coming. Jesus is going to make certain. In our new world, we know everything going to be all right. But I'm saying this. I'm going to go as far as to say this here. And it's just me, the man, talking now, y'all. I do believe that we still got some greater days even before then. I know there's some worse days going to come. But it's not for me and you. It's not for the believer. We're gonna believers. We're gonna suffer trials and tribulation. Yes, but that's all we're gonna suffer. We're not gonna suffer nothing else but trials and tribulation on this side. But I do believe we need to keep our same mindset that the people that from decades ago, they knew that somehow everything was gonna be all right. And I remember my great grandma used to tell me that all the time. Said they didn't know. Didn't know where the next meal was coming from, but every day they ate. Every day they ate. So didn't know where it was coming from, but they ate every day. So this is what I'm saying to y'all. We're gonna eat, people. God gonna take care of it. Not only God gonna take care of us all. Now we got some people that they have no respect for God. Now, believe it or not, people, now I know y'all saying, man, you crazy. No, I'm not. There are some people that don't have no respect for God at all. They will give all kinds of time to anything else but God. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. It may seem like it would be crazy enough to do that, but there are some of us that crazy enough to do it. We would do everything but what God tells us to do, people. Amen. I'm telling you now, don't let me have to come out there. I'll tell you straight up. We got people that will rather do anything they would do anything somebody tell them to do, except for the things of God. But you know what? We don't judge nobody. We don't judge. All you do is do like Jesus said. You know the tree by the fruit. You ain't got to judge nobody, but you know the tree by the fruit. In other words, if many man set up here and now we all, like I said, we can fall in despair sometimes. And if you let people steal your joy, the devil will do that because that's your strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. If you let people steal your joy, they got you. They got you. You can never let people steal your joy. In other words, and you got to surround yourself around positive people. You know, a few years back, one of the best things that happened to me, a few years back, one of the best things that happened to me, I met two people. I was introduced to two people by my buddy Flo. I ain't heard from Flo in a long time. But my buddy Flo, she introduced me. I got a chance to know two people that I really enjoyed, that made my day through Flo. And that was Khalik Glover and Khalik's buddy. And you know what? I can't even think of his name now. I can't even think of his name, but it's one of Khalik's main buddies. And I met them through Flo from Blog Talk Radio. We used to, because I introduced Flo to Blog Talk Radio, and then when Flo got to doing her show on it, she was interviewing different celebrities and stuff, and they was two. Dave Hampton, that's his name, Dave Hampton. Khalik Glover and Dave Hampton. Those the two people that I met that gave me what sparked my motivation. Those were the two best people I met. In the last few years, those were the two of the best people I could have ever met. As far as on the internet was concerned, with Dave Hampton and Khalik Glover. They were positive. They were very positive. You need positive people in your life. Is that going to keep you? And it will keep you motivated. Even when you get down in despair. If you think about those people that you met, like Khalik and Dave, and then we used to have some of the greatest times on there where Khalik will have these shows and these webinars and seminars. He have them live with. I even got on the phone. We was all together with Larry Graham. Y'all know Larry Graham? Yeah, the one from the Sly and the Family Stone. I mean, Larry, we all was on there. We had a Michael Jackson celebration. I remember all them. We had that right there with Khalik Glover, with Ricky and all of them. We used to have a ball. Now, I miss that. I really miss that. But perhaps, we'll get a chance to do some of those again. Because those are positive. We need to be looking for positive things to do. And in other words, to keep each other encouraged. So right now, I'm going to stop this video. And just remember, the only way we can defeat hopelessness is to get with people like Khalik Glover, Dave Hampton, people like that, get together with some interesting things, some webinars and seminars, and let's get together, y'all, and do something to encourage each other and stop this dwelling on all the bad stuff. We know that we got nuclear bombs out here. We know that, but we can't just sit around and dwell on nuclear bombs and EMP bombs. Let us just pray that, in other words, let us pray that if that man over yonder throw an EMP bomb in our atmosphere, let some of us computer programmers, like myself, and I mean, I don't even consider myself even halfway as smart as some of the guys from MIT and all them other programmers out there. I know between all of us, we could come up with something to negate that EMP. We ain't got to worry about all our power grid going out about EMP, but let's start working on it now. Let us start working to combat against the EMP right now. Thinking about what we could do to prevent it from frying all our electronics. That's what we should be doing, not worrying about it, but let's do something about it. Or the nuclear bomb. We know when a nuke hit, we know we already got an idea of the devastation that it can do because of the fact, if you go back to Hiroshima, Nagasaki, that was an atomic bomb. And look at the damage it did. A nuke is much more powerful than an atomic bomb. So you can imagine what it can do. But let us not dwell on the damage that it can do. Let's dwell on what we can do to come back off a nuke. See, I'm a person like that. I believe where there's a will, there's a way. I believe that we can come back even off a nuke. I believe it's something that we can do to prepare ourselves for even on a nuclear attack. I believe that's something we can do to prepare ourselves even for a nuclear attack. There's a will, there's a way. If a bunch of amateurs made the ark and saved his family, Noah saved his family, that ark was built by a bunch of amateurs. And I'm quite sure if God used a bunch of amateurs to make the ark to save the world, then I'm quite sure he could use some of the MIT folks, some of our Berry folks, some of our University of Georgia folks, somebody would like to come up with some sort of thing to come back and to make a comeback off of anything else. I'm just saying, people, that's just the way I think. But everybody can get into a little hopelessness every now and then. But let us come together as a people. Let us find a way of all the threats that we have against us. Let us be thinking of a way that we can fix this thing to combat against those threats before they happen. So if and when they do happen, we'll know what to do. Let's educate the people. Now I guarantee you, now some people ain't gonna want to be educated. Some people don't care. I just really believe some people that going through whistling Dixie, they don't care one way or the other. You can't tell them nothing because everything you try to tell them, they blow it off like you are crazy. Them are the ones that going to get caught off balance. They're going to get caught off base and they're going to perish. For the lack of knowledge, they're going to perish. Because they refuse to let anybody tell them anything. Oh my goodness. Let me get off this thing. Y'all, I'm going to start out. We just said, I just wanted to give another shout out to my buddy, Khalid Glover and Dave Hampton. And making mention of them to my sister Flo, that she was the one that really introduced me to those guys, and we all got together and everything. We used to have a blast a few years ago, and we are asking. I think Khalid is still big time and doing a lot of the helping with the mixing and audio engineering and stuff like that. I haven't heard from Dave in quite a while because I used to hear from Dave through Khalid, so I haven't heard from Khalid in quite a while. But not like I don't know how to get in contact with him, because I do. I just haven't done it yet. Like I said, a lot of things happen, y'all. Y'all know life happens. But in other words, until the next video, next Bible study, whichever comes first, whatever you get into, if God is not in it, come on out of it, because it's going to come to nothing. Till the next time, peace. Good night.